Okay, hi, and welcome to this performance talk for Milap's Music for the Mind and Soul series. My name's Alok Nayak, and I'm the Artistic Director at Milap, and I'm really happy to be joined by an amazing friend and colleague and collaborator to Milap, Dr. Pandit Ranajit Sengupta. And first of all, very warm welcome and namaste to you. Thanks for joining us.
Namaskar, good evening to everyone watching us, and thanks to everyone who joined the YouTube premiere today, the tribute to Pandit Nikhil Banerjee concert. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we love hearing your music, but today we wanted to talk to you to get a little bit of a story behind the music, to listen to some of the ideas, and of course to learn more about you as well. I'm chatting to you first of all today on Wednesday the 27th of January, and this is the death anniversary of Pandit Nikhil Banerjee. So first we wanted to chat today because we wanted to mark this occasion and really understand more about him and his music and why you would pay tribute to him. But first, this is a great opportunity to get to know his work, your work a little bit better. And for the audience who are listening and who have just heard your concert, I just wanted to say thank you again, Ranajit. We've welcomed you to Liverpool, to London, to different places around the country in England. And we wish we were together, of course. We wish you were teaching, composing, performing for all of the people who love your work in England. But this is the best thing we can do, and connecting with you from Liverpool to Kolkata. So thanks for sharing your music and for giving us your time to chat today as well.
Thank you.
So let's talk first the important occasion that we're marking today, and on the day of your concert. People are going to be listening to this interview straight after the Music for the Mind and Soul concert. So can you tell us why you wanted to pay tribute to Pandit Nikhil Banerjee? What did he and his music mean to you to inspire you to pay tribute to him?
Thank you very much, Alok Bhai. I want to share a fact with the audience around the world that I never met Pandit Nikhil Banerjee personally, because the year I started learning Swarat was the year after his death, 1987. He died in 1986. And though I was influenced by Ustad Dhyanesh Khan the most and started playing Sarod, but when I came to my guru, then I was already playing. I was a studio musician mainly, playing mandolin, guitar and different string instruments. So while the first year of learning with my first guru, late Ustad Dhyanesh Khan, in one fine morning at the class in the university where I was studying, and he was a professor, it was in Ravindranath University, Kolkata, he talked to me about Pandit Nikhil Banerjee for a long time and introduced me to his music and told me that I should listen to him. And then I started listening to him, and really it touched me so deep that there was not a single day when I did not listen to Pandit Nikhil Banerjee. Like, I never stopped listening to Lata Mangeshkar in my life. I at least listened to her once a day. So Pandit Nikhil Banerjee inspired and influenced me so much to my music, what I am today. And that is because my Guruji introduced me to his music, and slowly when I came to learn the advanced techniques, I remember this was few weeks or few months later that he introduced to me. He told that when Pandit Nikhil Banerjee came to his grandfather late Ustad Acharya Alauddin Khan Sahab. Then always already Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Alibar Khan, they both were established artists. So when Acharya Alauddin Khan realized that Pandit Nikhil Banerjee have learned sitar for a long time from other gurus, he told he will introduce a different way of playing sitar. And because he was very old at that time, he also asked him to learn from his daughter Ma Annapurna Devi and also from his son Ustad Alipur Khan Sahab. And my Guruji, especially Ustad Dhyanesh Khan Sahab, told me that Nikhil Banerjee's playing style have got a lot of influences from Sarod styles. And after I got national scholarship after 2 years, it was 1989 when I got the President Award from the All India Radio and I got the national scholarship. He was very happy and he told me he will teach me some very special styles which is not normally played on sarod, which is normally played in sitar. So he showed me a lot of techniques which was very new for me that time. But I really worked hard on it, and after the sudden demise of my first Guruji, I came under the tutelage of my present Guruji, Ustad Ashish Khan Sahab, and he also influenced me with his music so much. And after many years of learning and practicing and listening to many great artists, Pandit Nikhil Banerjee especially influenced me and inspired me very deeply.
Yeah.
So when I was offered this concert from Milap Fest, which would take place sometimes in January, I just thought this is a great way to pay homage, my respect to the great master. And I decided to play one of his great creation, one of the 4 ragas that he composed himself, Hem Lalit as a tribute, and also Rag Marwa, which was one of his favorite and my favorite as well.
Yeah.
So that's the fact that I was deciding.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to mark the occasion. And it's great to hear a little bit about your background as well and how you developed your music styles. And I think what's interesting is many people will have heard the music of Pandit Ravi Shankar, of Ustad Vilayat Khan, but because Pandit Nikhil Banerjee died at a relatively young age,
Yes, he was only 55 when he died.
So not relatively fewer people would have heard his music. So it's really great that you're reviving it and keeping it in the ears and hearts of audiences as well.
Of course, this is a responsibility for us who represent the Maihar Sainik Gharana, one of the most important gharanas of instrumental classical music, Indian classical instrumental music. And if you listen to, as you just mentioned about Ustad Bilal Khan Sahab and Pandit Ravi Shankar, I am a great fan of both of them. And I have listened some incredible concerts live by them too. But to my personal opinion, I think Pandit Nikhil Banerjee was among the best 3 sitar players that the world have produced till date. His music is so deep. So different in expression. If you listen to the same raga played by Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Bilal Khan Sahab, and Pandit Nikhil Banerjee, you will see all 3 of them have very unique expression, very unique identity in their music. And I think it is one of my wish in the future. Especially it came to me since I was working for long 6-7 years on my PhD research, where I worked on the contribution of Ustad Alipur Khan Sahab and Pandit Ravi Shankar as composers. So I had to do a lot of research work about the other musicians who were performing and teaching and who were presenting their music during the same time, and Pandit Nikhil Banerjee was one of them. That really amazing works that he did. So
Yeah.
I think it is also a responsibility for all the musicians who play Indian classical music to let the world know about the music of Pandit.
Yeah. I think it's really fascinating because I think people who are listening to this interview and those who are know a bit about Indian classical music, of course, you know that there's a legacy of great composers and artists and gurus, but that's important how it influences musicians of today. And I was thinking more about also your background in the city of Kolkata and in Bengal in general. I remember when you first came to Milap in 2004, I think, as a Music for the Mind and Soul concert. We didn't know you. We had all had an instant connection, not only with Milap but with your audience. And I remember very clearly what a couple of the audience members saying to me, first of all, is that how is it that so many great artists come from Kolkata? Because at that time, people in England had not heard your name in 2004. So people were really surprised that somebody that they've never seen before, never heard the name, is so brilliant. That's what someone was telling me. So is there something about the environment of Kolkata and the teaching, the history? What do you think makes Kolkata special for Indian classical music?
Okay, first of all, I must say my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to the audience from all over England who has been listening to me and inspiring me for long 17 years. I just realized that I started touring 27 years ago in 1994, touring around the world, I mean international touring. But I first came to England, I think sometimes in late 90s, but not for Milap. But for Milap, I started coming in 2004. And since I came to perform for Milap, I think I became a family.
Yeah.
Milap, and I always feel very, very excited whenever I came. There was not even a year when I stopped coming to UK, either for teaching the National Youth Orchestra or for performing, or even, especially I should mention this 50 years of Beatles concert where I stayed. Um, I remember a very interesting story that I was staying in the same hotel for 28 days, like 4 weeks, and I was so much bored to have the same room. So I came after 10 days to the front desk and asked if I can change the room because I was really in mood to write new music. And I remember that room that I changed to was a beautiful room with the view from the waterfront, and I immediately composed some composition. I don't remember which composition was that, but this is really so much inspiring my time that I spent in England, and especially for Milap, because it is not only performance. Like normally I travel around the world for performing, but I came to UK for teaching my composition and working with beautiful children, very, very talented musicians playing different forms of different instruments and different genre of music. So it was really fun, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I
And
think we all some great memories, as I was saying before.
yes, and if you ask me about Kolkata, also I want to share the fact with the world that I am a Bengali, but I'm not born in Kolkata. I'm born in Assam, where the tea comes from. Though I drink Darjeeling tea,
Yeah.
which is from West Bengal, a part in North Bengal.
That's always it's the essential part of your packing, isn't it? When you go
Yes, yes, it's a
anywhere.
very essential part of my packing. My bag never miss this. To have,
What's in your teacup now? Is it
I have my
Darjeeling?
ticket. Yes, I
Yeah.
have. So cheers, Alok bhai.
Cheers. I've got an English chai.
Okay. So, uh, if you ask me, of course, the city of Kolkata, this city is called City of Joy, but it is, for me, it is also the city of culture, and not only music. I mean, films, poetry, uh, theater, cinema, all different form of cultural activities is very strong here, and not only strong, it is very rich. We have many known musicians, many known filmmakers, but there are many very, very good musicians, poet, storyteller, actors not known yet, but they are incredible. So Calcutta is a city which not only produce good musician but also produce good cultural exchange programs. This is also very interesting. I think I can compare it with, I have been to only 48 countries till date, but a lot of big cities. But I can compare Calcutta only with Paris. I have that feeling myself when I was in Paris. I had this feeling that the mood in the streets, the mood in the cafes, you go, there are so many people talking to each other. Only they can spend hours just talking about one composition, one little composition, or a very little scene from a film. And this is very, very common in Kolkata, that we can talk about a line of a raga that was specially played by Ustad Dhyanesh Khan for a particular raga, and we can spend hours discussing about that. And that is, I think, that is enriching our lives, enriching our culture, that is enriching our environment around us.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing comparison, and so interesting to hear more about Kolkata in that way. So when we heard a little bit about your background and your guru, and so you moved from Assam to Kolkata for your training, is that right? Or
No, actually, because my father got an offer to work in Kolkata for the first underground railways in India, the metro, Kolkata Metro, which is now. At that time, it was MTP. It's called Metropolitan Transport Project. It was still was a project, and my father was invited as one of the main person, as the head of the administration, to find out how it is possible to do underground railway in Kolkata. So we moved to Kolkata. So I was born and spent my early childhood in Assam. So I have a big influence of Assamese culture in me. If you listen to the composition Childhood, I think you have the album Kya Baat, my German collaboration album. There is a composition called Childhood, which resembles the melody of Bihu, which is one of the most important cultural festival in India, originated from Assam.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
So and then Calcutta, of course, Calcutta influenced me.
Yeah.
The city influenced me, and the music from the music scene influenced me. But first of all, I was mainly playing non-classical commercial music, because I played mandolin and guitar. But since I started playing sarod, my life changed, and that story many times I told you. So, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. I enjoyed the time when I was a young boy coming from Assam to Kolkata, having a culturally different atmosphere. And then when I started touring around the world, I was in my early 20s. Then I had another cultural influence.
Yeah. And now, I mean, apart from the pandemic and the lockdown, we'll talk about that later. Normally, how much are you performing sarod? How much is composition? How much is collaboration? And approximately, like,
Yes, I should say that my students are very, very happy because of this, that I am not traveling every month for few days or few weeks. So for my students, it is a very good situation that I teach them regularly now, and I have a lot of students. Both me and my wife, Shirin, who has traveled for Milap, also toured for Milap. So we both have a school, international school in Kolkata, which is called Manomanjari Institute of Performing Arts and Research. And Manomanjari, we named it after a raga which was created by Pandit Nikhil Banerjee. So you can see the influence of Pandit Nikhil Banerjee.
Yeah.
Is very, very strong to me, or very deep.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching a lot, but the best part from my heart, I should say that I'm composing a lot, because I have more time, more space to think about new compositions. And both me and my wife, along with two friends, they are scientists by their profession. They are from Pune, the city Pune. And, it's Dr. Pankaj Joshi and Dr. Anu Raghunathan. They both collaborated with us. As I and Shirin, we produced 16 episodes of a YouTube series. It is called Swar Sur Sadhana, where we tried to have the confluence between performance and pedagogy, because it was for a long time, a lot of people from the world, wherever I go, they always told, we like to listen to the music, but we want to know the facts behind this. And that's why we decided to do this 16 episode. And I'm requesting all of you to go to our YouTube channels. It is Shirin Sengupta Nath or Ranajit Sengupta. We have 8 series each, and it is very interesting. I think you will enjoy that. This took a lot of time for me to arrange that, write the music, or decide to play. And we introduced, in almost every episode, we introduced our students.
Yeah.
So they have the possibilities to perform for these episodes. And so we are very happy.
Yeah, it's been some amazing content and ideas that you've shared, so people should definitely watch and enjoy it. And normally you would also travel to Europe quite a lot. I know you've got connections in Germany in particular, and Switzerland. That's an interesting part of your career, which would be nice for people to know about. How did you get connections with Germany and with the musicians in Europe, and what kind of work have you done there? Can you share with people who are listening?
Yes, of course. First, I will tell about the starting of my journey. That was because when I was doing my master's already, then there was a friend from Germany. He's not anymore living in Germany. He's living in South America now. Rainer Kaltofen. He learned tabla with Pandit Ranajit Chatterjee, but later he learned santur with Pandit Shivkumar Sharma. But he used to live in Kolkata and very close to my home. And when he listened to me, he always told Ranajit, you should come to Germany sometimes. But my father wanted me to complete my master's, complete my studies. So I waited until I completed my master's, but I was very lucky that before I got my master's done, I got the result from NET. It is called National Eligibility Test for Lectureship. So I became an official lecturer by the universities in India. And my friend Raina, he took that paper to his friend, very good friend, who was the departmental head of world music in Hamburg University. So he took my CD, my recording. At that time, it was still a cassette, I remember. He recorded me on a cassette and took my music and my papers. And the university was so happy to invite me. So my first tour outside India was mainly of the invitation from Hamburg University. So I was invited for the lecture. The first lecture was for 45 minutes, meant for 45 minutes, but that lecture went on for 3 hours. And that was the changing point of my life, that I became part of European culture and music. And I did not have every day lectures at the university. So the other days I started to visit other professors' classes. That's how I also learned the language, the German language, because I wanted to learn their music, the European classical music. And I was introduced to different genre of music by different friends who played guitar or piano or saxophone. And then I started collaborating that year also. My composition was born, this composition that is called Flight Back to India. I think many of the listeners today, they know about the composition Flight Back to India. This I composed with a pianist, university. Nita, she was an Indian girl but playing piano, and I composed this with her. So, the composer inside me is, I don't know when it was born, maybe it was born with me. So sometimes I am listening to some music, and next day I have the melody in my mind, and I try to find my way of expressing myself through that music. So
Yeah.
that's why I always say that my music represents me, because
Yeah.
nothing without my music.
Yeah. And I think we know you, and audiences know you really well through your compositions as well. Like you said earlier, we had a great occasion when you came in 2017 for the 60th anniversary of the Sgt. Pepper's album in Liverpool.
50th anniversary, 50, I think.
Yeah, and you did the 60th.
Was it 60th?
Yeah. So Sgt. Pepper's, there was a massive Liverpool festival, and it was great having you for that. But we also have known you really well through your compositions for Samyo, Sabrang, and Tarang. So can you tell us a little bit about what your experiences were like for composing for those three ensembles, and what kind of music you shared with them?
Yes, of course. First of all, I must tell you that this is a very, very special feeling for a composer to have this opportunity to work with really talented children playing different instruments or singing. And I think you have in your archive some of these video recordings when I compose something for them, and next day I have an idea and I introduce that to them, and before the final performance at the Queen Elizabeth Hall, even the day before the last rehearsals, I was teaching them some new lines, and they were so happy to do that, and they did incredibly well. I was really touched by their presence.
Yeah.
During my performance along with them, or during my composition being performed by them. And also I want to share with you a very special feeling that my composition Homage, which I composed in memory of my first guru, late Ustad Dhyanesh Khan, many years ago when he died in 1991. And during the 10th anniversary, I think, if I am not wrong, at the Queen Elizabeth Hall, you showed a film about that composition, which is, I think, it's available in YouTube still now. And that was a very special feeling. I really felt very much honored to have that on stage with the house full audience at the Elizabeth Hall in London.
Yeah, you're right. We had
5 compositions.
Yeah, you're right. Because one of the big memorable concert that you did with Samyo was the 10th anniversary concert. And in that one, because 10th anniversary was a full house in South Bank Centre, and it was amazing to play your compositions at that time.
And I must say, sorry to interrupt you, but I must say before I forget that they were very receptive. It is not like that I'm telling them something new on the 3rd day of rehearsal, and they think, oh, we are already done with this, we don't want to learn a new line. Maybe there is 10 girls singing. So I just had 2 lines for them, and now I told, okay, you have to do 3 lines, 3 each, or 3 to group of 3 2 times, and a group of 4 1 time, and you have to do not 2 lines, not 2 harmonies, but 3 harmonies at the same time. And they really learned it, and they worked on it themselves. When I was going to have a coffee, I just saw that, and during the break they are practicing by themselves these new lines. This gave me so much good mood that I always tell this to my students here, because we have a bigger capacity of students here. We have about 80 to 100 students together with Shirin's vocal students here, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of possibility to work with them because of the number of students and the possibility of the sound produced by bigger group of voices. But I remember a lot of I have a lot of memories from teaching the flute students something, and the second flute have to play a second line and or some a counterpart, and they enjoyed learning this kind of compositions where it is, because the classical Indian music is one line music, it's melodic, and Western classical music or orchestration, when you play for orchestra, then you have different layers of melodies or
Yeah.
harmonies, and all these students who are students of Sabrang, Samyu and Tarang, they basically learn classical music, either Carnatic or Hindustani. But when they play compositions, they have this fun of learning a different genre of music.
Yeah.
And my work around the world was from pop to jazz to blues to Western classical, whatnot. So
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning, listening to great masters and working with different very good musicians. My latest work is with one of my fellow students from Brazil, who is a very good guitar player playing Brazilian style, Ivan Sakavicius. And he comes every year to India. Because of pandemic, he's not here now. Otherwise, he would be here now during the winter. And I learned from him the Brazilian music, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And I am composing with him new songs, which will have both Brazilian and Indian influences.
Amazing. Yeah. Look forward to
Learning
hearing that.
process for me.
Yeah. And on that subject, what do you think that your musical life will change now? I mean, is it early to say? How do you feel things will change for you because of these restrictions in travel and because of the pandemic?
Yes, in Kolkata, especially, very slowly the concerts are taking place. But I'm happy with this situation that these pre-recorded concerts going to a good sound and video possibilities, like I recorded for Milap now in a studio in Kolkata. And also I performed for Swar Samrat Festival, which is one of the biggest festival running for 4 months now. I'm going to perform on the 7th of February there. My performance is going to webcast on 7th of February, but actually it is pre-recorded like many other festivals in India and around the world. Also, I played for concerts and festivals in US already, in Europe already. And I like this idea of playing live. So some of these concerts, like I played for Google's main office in California, I played a concert and that was live. And I think during this period, I have played at least 10 live concerts from my home and from different studios.
Yeah.
And some was pre-recorded, and the mood is not the same like the audience is sitting in front of you, of course not. But as in Kolkata the concerts are starting slowly, I think next year or end of this year we can start traveling again,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. And I mean, it must be a massive change of pace for you because you've been traveling constantly for
Yes, of course, it's a big space for me, and I'm
20
enjoying
years. Yeah.
my time. But I am not lazy about that.
Yeah.
Think in sometimes my wife Shirin is telling me I'm getting more active now when I'm not traveling.
Yeah.
So because I always want to do something new,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of projects coming. You will be the world will know about that. I am recording some compositions with some incredible musicians
Yeah.
from our students, mainly from Shirin and my students. They are performing, and also from some unknown, incredibly talented singers and performers whom I want to showcase their talent to the world, whom I want to introduce to the world.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now I am already recording them.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And also different genre of music.
Yeah.
It's not raga music that I am going to produce. So I'm producing a lot during this time.
Yeah, and we will keep sharing with Milap audiences as well. And you mentioned them both. We've really enjoyed hearing the music of your son Rajashri for the first time, and of course,
please bless him. Just bless him.
I mean, we'll be sharing it again, and you know, he did a music for the Mind and Soul concert in late 2020, and your wife is a vocalist, Hindustani vocalist, who we've had the pleasure of hearing and hosting here in England. So we'd love to hear them again and share their music again soon. But it'll be, I mean, everybody around the world must be saying this, that we just can't wait to listen to music live and interact with the artists. And it's I think it's almost it's going to be some kind of surreal experience to get back into live performances. But
and I'm looking forward to work with the Tarang, Samyu and Sabrang again.
Yeah.
I have a lot of new compositions waiting for them.
Definitely. And, you know, like you were saying, again, bringing back to Pandit Nikhil Banerjee, I mean, the way students and young musicians learn here has changed a lot over the years, because you're lucky if you have one guru, but even if you have one guru, your music is shaped by influences. And I know that everybody who's worked with you in our ensemble since 2012 has been really influenced and inspired by your teaching and your composition. So
thank you very much.
Audiences, students, Milap, we all love working with you, love listening to your music, and great talking to you as well. So thanks so much for spending the time, and thank you for sharing your concert with us. And yeah, look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much. I wish everyone a very, very musical and peaceful and healthy 2021.
Thank you.